Hello and welcome back. I am Cithryth as usual, and this is episode 7 of my LOTRO Lore Master Let's Play. As you can tell, this is not where we left off. This is Mickle Delving, basically the capital of the Shire, more or less. There's a very good reason I'm here, and it's because a server-wide event has recently started called the Bounder's Bounty. And basically, you collect Bounder's tokens because the Bounders, the police force of the Shire, more or less, are having a fundraising campaign, and they've asked everyone to help give them tokens. So as you quest and kill things, you find bags occasionally, and turning in that quest actually got me to level 12, that's pretty good. And yeah, so you find bags, and they have 520 tokens in them, and once the server gets enough, we need to collect 1,750,000 tokens. So far, my server, Winfola, has collected 2,850 tokens, which is pretty good, considering we're kind of a smaller server, supposedly. I don't know if that's true or not. So, yeah, once that 1,750,000 gets hit, this statue will be revamped into something cool that will stand, I guess, until the server is closed, whatever. So, then also, this Bounder's Bounty vendor will open up, and she's got some cool stuff, including what I'm really interested in, which is this Steed of Mickle Delving, which I think looks pretty cool. It's got some very hobbity stuff, like this lantern, cauldron, hourglass, and even better, a big giant pipe, frying pan, and a bag of fruits and vegetables. It's very hobbity, and I love it, and I want it on all my characters. So, yeah, that's the Bounder's Bounty. It's gonna go on until Helm's Deep launches, which is, we don't really know what it is. It's sometime in fall still. We don't know much more than that. And, yeah, there's some problems with it so far. It just launched today. Today's Monday. And, there's already some issues. Well, they say it's working as intended, but it seems that there's a very, very low drop rate on these tokens. I was playing for an hour and a half of just non-stop killing, trying to get tokens, and I got 30 tokens, which is not a lot. So, yeah, it was very disappointing. However, like I said, the developers have said that this is working as intended, and one of the developers, Edgecase, went on the forums and spoke to what people were saying was a very low drop rate. And he said, and I quote, "Think of this more like a marathon than a sprint." So, I mean, obviously they are thinking of this in a more long-term sense than some players were hoping. So, I mean, I guess we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'll get some more drops. Another thing to point out is that it's not per character, so you can see I already have 25 tokens, and that is because, like I said, I collected some on another character and I just turned in 5. So, it's account-wide, so that's, I'm not sure if that's good or bad. I haven't decided yet. So, we'll see. Hopefully I get some bags as this episode goes on. So yeah, that was one main kind of thing that I wanted to talk about because it launched today and it's a big thing. You know, we haven't had a big server-wide gathering event since before the first expansion came out, Mines of Moria. There was a big ring lore gathering thing, but it seemed, I think the ring lore dropped a lot more readily than this, but though I also think we had a lot less time between when the ring lore started and Mines of Moria released. I think. I don't remember. I mean, that was like years ago, so. So yeah, I'm just collecting thistle right now. For Thrasi's links that he found. And yeah. Oh yeah, and the other thing I wanted to talk about that was also recently announced or talked about was the class changes. Like I said before, we didn't really know what was going on with all of that, but then they did a Twitter dev chat, and a lot more information was released. And so I'm just going to talk about the class changes that they talked about, not some of the other stuff. But I will put a link in the description to the transcript of the dev chat, so if there's other information you want to know, it'll be there. So basically they're changing it to a trait tree system. like mounted combat is. I'd show you, but this character is too low level to have mounted combat, and so it's not a thing. But basically, you know, 3 trait trees to match the 3 trait lines that we have now, and you put points into the trees, and that's how you unlock skills rather than how it is now by just purely levels. So it seems that basically the goal for this change is each trait line will stand out from the rest, and it'll reduce the amount of class homogenization that's occurred over the past couple of years. And I'm dying. I should probably use a potion or something so that doesn't happen. This guy's a bit tougher than I thought. I should have been paying a bit more attention. But I was really focusing on those class changes. Hold on a second. I should also probably have my raven. I'm kind of not on my game right now, am I? Right. So, raven. But we got the bow anyways. So, the goal is to reduce the amount of class homogenization. People have been noticing this over the past couple of years, that the class makeup when you go into an instance doesn't matter quite as much anymore as it used to. And that has some pros and cons. You know, it means that if you're a class that might not be necessarily needed in a specific instance, that, you know, that kind of sucks. Like, people won't want to bring you into the instance. However, now with with homogenization, that's not an issue. Like, you can go into any instance. So yeah, I can see pros and cons to that. The other goal they said is that once the trait lines are fully in effect on your character and you're maxed out or whatever, you should have approximately 20 skills, not including travel skills, pet skills, and fluff skills like that. So that's also interesting because on current level cap characters you can have all your quick slots full of skills, and probably well over 20 are used usually. So again, I can see why it's good to cut down on the skill bloat, because it can be annoying to, you know, deal with all of that. But it'll also be quite tricky for current higher level characters to deal with, because they'll be losing a whole lot of skills. Where do I have to go? Right, I have to go back to Dueland. So yeah, like higher level characters will have a lot of issues with probably a bunch of skills getting taken away. And I mean, the way things sound on paper are obviously going to change. I mean, you know, it's still quite a few months off, and it's hard to say anything and make any judgments until we see how things are going and see how it actually feels in game. Like, I always have a hard time doing the theoretical type thing, just talking theoretically about game systems without actually feeling them out and seeing how they play. So, I mean, it's good to get more information, and I'm glad they're starting to talk more about it, because it means we're getting closer to Helm's Deep, which is what I'm interested in. So, yeah, now I'm just doing some quests out here in Gondamon. Just random killing lots of things, basically. Let's see. Killing wolves, killing boars, or bears, not boars. And dour hands. Lots and lots of dour hands. Alright, so I will talk a little bit about dwarves and elves and why they may or may not hate each other. This is just a shorter version. I'm not gonna go into the full history of elves and dwarves. If you really want the full history, obviously read the Silmarillion, because that will tell you everything you need to know. But the short of it is, basically, dwarves are not made the same way, well, were not originally made the same way that elves and humans were. Elves and humans were kind of created into Middle-earth and awoke when the one god, Eru, said it was time for them to wake up. Elves woke up first. that's why they're elves, I guess. And dwarves, however, were created by one of the kind of minor deities, if you will, the deity Aule. I think I'm pronouncing it right. I'm not sure. Basically, he was like the craftsman kind of creator deity, and he did not want to wait for the elves and humans to wake up. He was too excited to see little creation people. Now, hold on, this is a very interesting hat. Got quite a bit of armor. Cap of the Shire. Let's see what it looks like. It looks hideous, but let's wear it. Yes. Right. So, he was tired of waiting, so he created dwarves. He created the 7 original dwarf fathers, and that's why you always hear dwarves talk about Durin, and by Durin's beard, and you know, Durin is basically the dwarf to end all dwarves. There's been, I think at this point in time there have been 7 Durins. I don't remember. But, yeah, so Durin is one of the main fathers. So that's a key part of why dwarves and elves are kind of at odds. I mean, that's not like the reason they hate each other, but that's definitely a factor in why they may not be predisposed to get along. Basically what ended up happening was Eru found out that Aule had created these dwarves and made him keep them asleep until after elves and men had woken. So that's a little bit of dwarf trivia for you. Oh shoot, I died because I wasn't paying attention. Alright, luckily, so we've got some options here for what happens when you die. I can retreat and go to the res circle. I can just arrive here for free. I get that once every hour or so, I think. Or if I really want, I can spend my mithril coins, but I don't want to. Dying used to be a much bigger deal. You used to get dread, which would give you negative percentage of morale, negative percentage of damage. It was not fun, especially at higher levels. And that debuff would last for about 10 minutes. But now, you don't get dread when you die, which is nice. I think my problem that I'm having is that I keep forgetting how squishy I actually am. Because I'm used to playing, you know, my captain, which is a heavy armor character, or my hunter more recently, which is a medium armor character. I haven't played a light armor character in a while. So I need to keep that in mind, and not be so Leroy Jenkins-ish about things. And I should get my raven out again. I don't know why I keep forgetting my raven. That's dumb. I remember being very confused in this area when I first started playing. I don't know what it was about this area up here in the lowlands where I am, but for some reason the map confused the heck out of me. This was, remember, before there was a quest guide tracker in place, and you just had to read the descriptions, and there were some quests where, just for the life of me, I could not figure out where the heck I was supposed to go. I don't even know what quest it was, because I can't, like, at this point in time, I can't figure out what the heck it was that was so confusing, because, I mean, everything's pretty laid out, I think, now, unless they've changed it, which they might have. But, I mean, I don't know, seems to make sense to me. Again, just that MMO noobishness, I guess, really got to me. I'd also like to point out that I still have not gotten a bag of tokens on this character yet. So, we'll keep going and see if we get one eventually. It'd be funny if I don't even find one in this whole episode. Although I actually wouldn't really be that surprised, because like I said, I was playing for an hour and a half, doing nothing but grinding with another kinmate, and he got 1 bag of 5 tokens, and I got, I think I got 2 bags, one with 20 tokens and one with 5 tokens. So that kind of sucks. But like the dev said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Oh, and the other thing they said was that this is not the only way that you can get tokens. You can also get tokens for, randomly as drops from the Hobbit presents, which I talked about in an earlier episode. Loot boxes, which is a thing you can randomly get dropped and then you have to find keys for. But they also said that later on they will introduce other more reliable ways of getting tokens as we approach Helm's Deep. So that's good to know. That's hopeful. But for right now it's also kind of annoying. But I mean, whatever. As long as I get that Mickle Delving Steed on most of my characters, I'll be happy. Because the nice thing about that Mickle Delving Steed is it's not just like a regular mount, but you also get War Steed cosmetics for it, which to me is super exciting, because I love customizing them and making little outfits for my horsies, like I do my characters. Alright, so let's see. I've got a couple quests here now that want me to go to Glamir. So we'll do that, but first I'm going to briefly go to Breetown to talk to the mayor, I guess, and do this thing. So yeah. Okay, so I realized I do want to show you guys Breetown, because like I talked about in an earlier episode, Bree has recently undergone a graphic revamp. And so we're just gonna kind of look around Bree a little bit, because it looks really cool now. I'm gonna zoom in a bit so you can see there's like a lot of little incidental NPCs that don't even have names. You can't even click on them, that have been added. Like this lady just sitting here cooking. This guy with his little market stand, I guess. Just the stonework has also been upgraded. This has a lot more detail. You can tell everything has a lot more detail compared to Heirloom, which I was just in. You know, stuff like these puddles, like where you can see the reflection. I mean, the one thing I don't like about the puddles is that you can't splash in them. Like, that'd be really good. But yeah, everything just looks. It looks a lot more like the Breetown from movies, I would say. It's got that dark, kind of foreboding, old feeling. Also, I like that they added a stage here for role players, which is really nice. And up ahead is my favorite thing in Breetown, but I'm gonna save that for next episode, actually. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna end it there. That is the end of episode 7. And next time we will take a look at Lalia's Market, which is right over there. It's wonderful. And yeah, so see you next time.